The Mavericks get beat down on Broadway despite Naji Marshall's big night. We'll tell you how it happened coming up next on the DLS Mavs postgame show. Hey, what's up, DLS Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato, Mavericks analyst Bobby Corella, and our national NBA insider, Marc Stein. We, of course, are DLS Mavs. Appreciate you joining us here on our post-game show as the Mavericks fall on the road on the second night of a back-to-back to the New York Knicks, 128-113, despite Naji Marshall going for a career-high 38 points.
The knife!
It was not enough, unfortunately, as OG Anunoby, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Josh Hart sliced and diced their way to a Broadway beatdown over the Dallas Mavericks. Josh Hart and Karl-Anthony Towns making history for the Knicks tonight, both having a triple-double. OG Anunoby finishing with 35 points. We will break everything down here over the course of the next hour. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to DLL Sports while you are here as well. As gentlemen, Naji Marshall went off for 28 points in the first half, 13 of 15, got into the paint at will, living inside against the Knicks, but the Knicks got out to a good start in the third quarter, and it was pretty much a wrap from there.
It was kind of the game we expected. This Mavericks team fights every time they step on the court. I don't think there's a single game in recent memory where they've just got smacked from the jump. That doesn't happen to them very often, and they've gone through so many injuries, even despite that. This is a team that fights. They make things competitive. The Knicks were more talented even without Jalen Brunson, even without Mitchell Robinson. Dallas obviously missing PJ Washington, missing Anthony Davis, and it just wasn't enough in the end. In fact, we were so close to predicting how this game was going to go. Me and Bobby were talking before the show, and I was like, they're going to find a way to score 110 points. Like, you just know this Mavericks offense, some way or another, is going to score 110 points. And your response, Bobby?
Knicks are going to score 130.
Final score, 128-113.
I was wrong.
That's what you said pregame?
Yep.
We didn't say it on the stream.
You came within a bucket?
You did say it.
I did.
You did say it. I'm a witness.
First half, Mavs scored 68 points, committed 3 turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
In the first half, the Mavs had 42 points in the paint.
Shout out to Naji Marshall.
Whatever Tibbs said at halftime, Marc, you can probably guess what he said. You've probably known Tibbs for a while. I can imagine it was some very colorful language.
Love Tibbs. Absolutely love the man.
The Mavs scored 22 points in the paint in the second half. They committed 13 turnovers. The Knicks had 21 fast break points. So basically, in the second half, what were Mavs layups ended up turning into turnovers, and Knicks layups the other way. The Knicks just really turned up the heat on defense. They're a team that even without Brunson, they have another level they can get to. The Mavs do not have another level they can get to without AD, obviously without Kyrie. And so they got outclassed in the second half.
The Mavericks tonight played in what, to this day, still probably ranks as my favorite place to watch a game. Now, media no longer gets the seats at MSG that we used to. And
where'd you used to sit?
It's just at Baseline.
Oh, wow.
Man.
And
wow.
They were magical. And a certain number 41 who used to toil for the Dallas Mavericks loved to go to MSG. And I'm guessing the Corella Strader could probably whip up some stats on BK Ref if I ask real nicely.
You can.
If my memory serves, number 41 had a habit of doing a lot of damage.
Highest career scoring average.
At MSG. You don't even need to look it up.
Yeah, 25, 26 points a game.
He loved playing there. I mean, going there and sitting on the baseline was they just stuffed us in there. You are just packed in there with it was, I can't even do it justice in words. Saying all that.
So they don't say you baseline anymore because they've moved you to celebrity row?
No, they've moved the media. The media couldn't see celebrity row with a telescope where the media is. I mean, you've been there with the Mavs in recent. I'm guessing you are not on the court on the baseline.
No. We're up in in fact, it's now one of the furthest away from the court media seats. However, I would just like to co-sign what you said. There is no stadium, not even Staples, that has given me an actual sense of awe the first time I covered a game there.
I'm a huge old school organ, like the organ at MSG the MSG soundtrack is magical.
For me, it's a ceiling.
It's just the whole package is, even though it's an older building, but saying all that, this is the one game on this trip that, I mean, okay, was Naji going to get to 40? I mean, I guess there was some intrigue there, but like, this is really the one game that held little interest for me because new AD wasn't playing, no Brunson, and so, I mean, I'm just being
we'll see if AD plays on Thursday.
I think the expectation, if he doesn't play, if he doesn't play against Orlando, then something's wrong. So the plan clearly was, as we talked about last night, play one of these two games in New York on the back-to-back. I think I'm right in saying the Mavs only have one back-to-back left on the schedule. It's the 2-game Clipper baseball series, which I am actually going to be at. I have not been to Intuit Dome.
Me neither.
And my oldest lives in Los Angeles, so
take some pictures of the wall.
I'm making a combined trip of seeing my oldest if he can squeeze me into his schedule, but also remember the Clippers. That was my first beat many years and many pounds ago.
Did you ever see the wall coming?
No, I did not. And look, when I switched to the Laker beat, they were still playing at the Forum. So I spent a lot of time in Inglewood. I have to go see this building for myself. So I thought, you know what? Go when the Mavs are there. It's a baseball series, even though, as Super Kev loves to point out, I'm not a fan of a baseball series. But in this case...
And it's a true baseball series with that one because it's a back-to-back.
Yeah.
And those are going to be big games. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, Mark, but like, do you think that AD would, assuming he's healthy until then, is AD sitting out back-to-backs the thing that we should expect?
I mean,
or is that one could be different?
That's what I guess I would expect, but in all candor, I have not asked anyone. I haven't gone that far ahead. And since I've clearly been wrong in preaching safety and expecting safety and thinking he would come back later than he has, maybe by then he is playing back-to-backs. Again, I wouldn't do it, but I think we've established that the Mavs will not be seeking my opinion before they determine his status for those two games.
And those games, just because of the Clippers, they're not really at this point more important than any game, right?
I mean, do you want to see him playing back-to-backs at that point?
No.
All I'm saying is that it's like the Clippers are what, still 5.5 games ahead of Dallas?
Yeah.
There's no way of catching them. A couple weeks ago, it did look more important. Did look like it could be more important. I think at this point in the schedule, the only importance is that Dallas will have seeding implications as they keep playing games.
I just realized I posted the incorrect score on @DLS_Mavs. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete. It was 120-101.
Was that last night's?
That was last night's score. Sorry about that, y'all.
I even said the score out loud at like...
I know. If any of you checked Twitter to find out the score to the big game, I gave you wrong information. That's on me.
Wow.
The knife!
So it sounds like you're fitting right into Twitter.
Good message. Good
I'm about to say, let me let
chat
Marc
contribution.
Hold
Tanner.
on. Let's take a pause for the cause for a second because I need Marc's time to cook for about 30 to 45 seconds because your boy went off tonight. Like Naji went off for a career high 38, had 28 in the first half, went 13 of 15. Like I can only imagine the glee on Marc Stein's face as he's watching Naji Marshall just carve up the Knicks defense in the first half.
I mean, we talked about it last night. The dude has been ridiculously good. I mean, this is the best stretch of basketball of his career. He had a stretch like this earlier in the season. I think, wasn't it when Luka was out that he had a stretch like this?
Yeah, he had four straight 20-point games.
Had a big game against Denver and a win, yeah.
He just has so much ability. I mean, again, I don't want to use the word silver lining because don't know that this season we can even go there. Like it doesn't feel like there are silver linings, no matter how hard we strain to look for them. But this team has no choice now but to look forward, and like to have Naji Marshall doing all the things that he can do on that value contract. I mean, he's a, like, sometimes I wonder, does he realize how good he is? Like, he's got and again, he's doing it with no three. I mean, there's no 3-ball. Scoring 38 in a game. What do you make? 1-3 tonight?
1-3, 1-3.
It's not easy.
And he bricked a bunch of free throws.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
he
it was all
easily had
ethical.
40, yeah.
Very ethical points from Naji tonight.
Yeah. Shout out to Sarah in the chat. She says it was fun watching Naji Marshall go up against former teammate Josh Hart. Of course, they were both teammates with the Pelicans.
Josh Hart also teammates on the Pelicans with J.J. Redick. And he was once traded for Anthony Davis.
And Nicola Melli? Nicolo Melli.
Again, we're straining to
Best
use
Italian since Kobe.
the word silver linings, but this heater that Naji Marshall is on, which has now reached 10 games where his lowest game is 18, his highest 38, and everything else is in the 20s. And then the way the two ways keep playing, like it's been.
Look, the Mavericks last summer, they were like, we want to assemble a very good roster, then go to the finals. So they went out and acquired 2 All-Stars, Quentin Grimes and Naji Marshall.
Yes.
I think it's pretty clear what's happening.
And incredible roster upgrades. This is the second straight show. Executive of the Year?
Kessler Edwards played his final game tonight for the Dallas Mavericks as he has finished up his 2-way contract. And the counter is updated. Our
0.
first one, Kessler Edwards, is now done with the Dallas Mavericks for the remainder of the season. Now, he will remain on the roster, of course.
I never, ever
so
want to
pour it
question our guy Tanner. Never.
No, he's 100% correct.
But I just wonder, are we going to can't we squeeze Kai Jones into this list?
Well, we can now because Kessler's Dunskies.
Well, I guess there is room now technically on the 2-way contract counter board to throw Kai Jones on there, but he's going to make it for the rest of the regular season.
Kessler, thank you, buddy. Thank you.
I mean this lovingly. Actually, I mean this so genuinely. Him going out with 0 points is kind of perfect for him.
Started.
He started.
Yes.
Played some minutes.
Second best Kessler in the NBA, dare I say.
After Kessler, Walker.
Walker Kessler.
I was trying to think of another one.
There's literally the only two, Kessler Edwards and Walker Kessler.
There's Kessler Theater. There's Kessler Park. Those are Dallas. Do you think Kessler Edwards lives in Kessler Park?
Well, we'll have to see what happens April 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th when we will finally get the answers to these questions. Maybe he gets a standard contract, and maybe he plays in the regular season finale. So maybe this isn't the last time.
That was my prediction before the
Kessler Edwards. You're always citing these golden predictions you made on the pregame show that turns into vapor, and nobody can prove if any of these things
Honestly,
actually
today's
happen.
pregame was so unhinged that it's better. It's better left
Unhinged?
to the ages. It was.
Tanner hosted again?
It would have been better off with Tanner hosting it.
Or at least sitting in Tim's chair this time around.
Kessler Edwards started.
I wasn't the one who did the sub.
What, Tim leave to go Papa Shop?
No, Kessler Edwards started in a win at Boston. He started a win against the Warriors. He started a win against the Heat, a win against the Pelicans. He started in a win against the Spurs. Like, the Spurs one obviously is less meaningful than some of those other games, but like he was a key player in games that the Mavs probably could have or certainly should have lost. They are not in their current situation, which is it's going to ring hollow because they're half a game out of 10th, but they are much, much lower down the standings without Kessler Edwards. And so shout out to that guy, man.
Yeah, shout out to the King for making his contributions felt with the Dallas Mavericks during his time this season. A little bit later on the show, what the situation looks like as we get down now to single digits left in terms of games for the Mavericks as they continue to try to get themselves into the top 10 and we'll dial up the timeline a little bit later on in
Sarah
the show.
says you were saying bad words in the pregame show. Is that true?
I was
On
absolutely
accident.
not.
We'll
On
talk
accident.
about that. Yeah, we'll talk about that
I
later.
believe Sarah.
absolutely
I'm going
was
with
not, though.
Sarah.
Yeah.
What, do you not want me to say words like function now?
I don't think you should probably relax on F words tonight, actually.
Yeah,
You
I
should
think
probably chill out.
yeah.
And with that, let's go to break.
Filibuster?
But if you don't want to pay more in property tax than what you should, then you've got to get with OwnWell. It's that time of the year. You get that dreaded letter in the mail if you're a homeowner. How much is my property worth? What kind of property tax am I paying? And you only want to pay what's fair, and OwnWell can help you do that. OwnWell believes that when it comes to paying property tax, you should only pay what's fair. Only property can come with its challenges. Overpaying for your property tax should not be one of them. OwnWell handles everything from start to finish and delivers top results, no upfront costs, so you only pay if you save. 86% of OwnWell's customers receive a reduction with an average customer savings of over $1,100. That's some serious money, especially around this time of the year. The deadline to protest is May 15th for most counties. Save money on your property taxes with OwnWell. Sign up in less than 3 minutes and start your protest today at ownwell.com/DLLS. That is OWNWELL.com/DLLS today.
Some of the happiest times I've had with you guys came the other day whenever we went to the Happiest Hour. Of course, if you've ever been to a game at American Airlines Center, you know where Happiest Hour is. It's right around the corner from the arena. It is a great place to go before the game. It's a great place to go after the game. Same goes if you're a Stars fan. But it's also a great place to go watch the dance, dude. It's about to be weekend 2. It's about to be some big-time games of both the men's and women's tournaments. And it is the best place to watch. They got more than 40 TVs. They got a massive jumbo LED screen, more than 50 beers on tap. They got a ton of appetizers. They got Gatorade in a margarita.
Oh,
in
the
a Gatorade
was
cooler.
so damn
Oh
good.
my God, it is so good.
That was so good.
Pop a shot, poppers. How about some popcorn chicken?
That's right.
It was so dang good. And they also are having
Tanner
a
was tearing
championship
it
game
up.
watch party. On April 7th, they're going to crown the happiest bracket challenge champion and also going to do giveaways, give out a grand prize. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you're ever in the neighborhood, go to Happiest Hour. You will not regret it.
Mavericks fall on the road to the New York Knicks, 128-113. OG Anunoby goes for 35 points as the Knicks had 6 guys in double figures, including Josh Hart and Karl-Anthony Towns, each with a triple-double. First time in Knicks history that has happened. Josh Hart with 16 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists. Karl-Anthony Towns, 26, 12, and 11 for the New York Knicks tonight. Naji Marshall, career-high 38 points, 28 of which coming in the first half as he went 13 of 15, but unfortunately not enough as the Mavericks only scored 45 points in the second half after scoring 68 in the first half. We are, of course, joined in our studio live by our National NBA insider, Marc Stein, as well. We'll dine up the Stein line a little bit later on in the show. Other takeaways from tonight's game that stood out to you. Obviously, the Mavericks did not have P.J. Washington, who missed tonight's game with the left ankle sprain this time around, and Anthony Davis sitting out on the second night of a back-to-back after playing 26 and a half minutes last night in a win over the Brooklyn Nets, scoring 12 points as he continues to work his way back.
I am efforting a PJ update, as we say, so I don't know his status for Thursday. I will try to get some kind of word the best I can and hope that I am successful.
I got a takeaway.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it has now been 10 games that Klay has played in since Kyrie's injury on March 3rd against the Kings. There was that one game at Indy. Klay did not play in that game. So he's appeared in 10 games. In that time, he's had a 6 for 19, an 8 for 20, a 2 for 16, a 3 for 9. Tonight he was 2 for 11. So he's had a lot of downs. There's been some games where he's shot it okay. He had 11 of 27 against Milwaukee, which actually, averaged out to be pretty good because he made 6 threes in that game, so pretty efficient. 8 of 14 against the Spurs, 9 of 15 against the Sixers. He's had some good performances. He's had a lot of really, really ugly performances. And we said it earlier in the year whenever we were talking about previewing this thing. Like, I think Klay is like, they also explicitly viewed Klay as like the finishing piece to go alongside superstars, and now the Mavs don't have any of those. AD presumably will be able to play in more of these games. And so hopefully when AD is out there, Klay will be a little more effective. But ultimately what you really need is a playmaking guard that's able to beat their guys, get to their spots, command double teams, tilt the defense, attract more attention, however you want to phrase it, and Klay feasts off that stuff. And AD did get doubled a little bit against Brooklyn, but it was mostly from one pass away, mostly from Kai Jones in the dunker spot or the nearest shooter, not Klay lurking on the weak side or whatever. And so I'm just not sure what level of consistency we're going to see from Klay the rest of the years. Part of that, obviously, is his responsibility to try and shoot well and shoot consistently and all that stuff. But if his quality of looks is not going to be what it should be, I'm not sure what to expect, and I that makes me sad because I want Klay to be really good. I don't think it means he sucks. He certainly, night to night doesn't maybe physically look as dynamic off the dribble some nights as he does previous nights. I just call that getting older. But yeah, I mean, without these star guards, it might be tough going for him for the rest of the season.
And that's the concern going into next year already, because Kyrie Irving not going to be available for a significant portion of next year. And who knows what the guard rotation is going to look like for the Mavericks starting into next season. Obviously, with Spencer Dinwiddie, Dante Exum, both having on expiring contracts as well. What will that look like in terms of who could step in and be that creator and ball handler when Kyrie is still missing? And what does that mean for Klay? Not to mention, Klay turned 35 this year. By the time Kyrie Irving gets back on the floor next year, Klay will be 36. So we're talking about a player that not only is on the decline from a physical standpoint, but if he's not going to be consistently able to have the kind of nights that he needs, given where he is in his career, that's it's a rough thing to think about, Tim, for a guy, Klay Thompson, at this stage in his career, going into next year.
It's just tough. It's tough. It's, his numbers are down everywhere, shooting wise, and, least down when it comes to 3-pointers. But this was a guy who was hitting, that 3 to 10 foot area. Basically, for Klay, it's almost always him dribbling, and then kind of turning around and fading. And it's not been a good shot in Dallas. But in fact, last season, the last 3 seasons, he was hitting almost 50% on that shot. Hitting 38% this season. And it's just tough. To what extent that is something that is age-related decline, might be a little bit of that. It just gets tougher, as the legs go. It's, there's some touch does go when the legs go, when, especially on movement shooting, especially on dynamic movements like that. But he used to be better at that shot. He's down on the long twos. Last season, he was 46% there. He's 41% there. 10 to 16 feet. He was 46% last season. He's 37% this year. And you're just not seeing it. It's so hard, but it's even harder for him right now. It's tough. It's rough. There's very little.
The only thing I would say here is when Luka was out and still on the roster, no player on the Mavericks missed him more than Klay. Now there's no Luka, there's no Kyrie.
Yeah.
I mean, there's such limited playmaking. How is that not a factor in his struggles?
Oh, yeah.
I think that's what we're saying.
I think we all acknowledge that. Yeah.
For sure. Well, and I said too, so Kyrie's been out, let's say it's the last 11 games, not counting tonight. The Mavs are the number 1 team in drives per game over the last 11 games by nearly 2 drives per game, which is really, really good. They pass a decent amount on those drives. They get a decent amount of assists, but considering they are number 1 in drives, they're like 10th in passes off drives. Like, this team is driving to score, whereas oftentimes, whenever it was like the Luka Kyrie offense, Luka's driving sometimes to score, but usually to pass. Kyrie is driving usually to score, but that's off of another drive. But now it's like Naji driving, and he kind of gets blinders, which is honestly the correct way to do it because Naji's had a lot of turnovers on drives this year. Dinwiddie, same way. Whenever he's driving, he's looking at the basket. So really the only kind of action now that the Mavs aren't running as much pick and roll, they're running a little more ISO, a little more transition, secondary break kind of offense. The only action that's going to suck in that defense is not going to be a rolling big man. It's going to be one-on-one attacking the rim, forcing help from somewhere, and teams just aren't going to help off Klay. So it's got to be like drive, kick, but they don't have those guys that can chain the driving kicks together. So I just think his quality of look's going to go way, way down, down the stretch here, and that could lead to a lot of inconsistency, I think.
Let's get to our $5 super chat from TiVo.
Let's go.
Who says Luka gone, fan base demoralized,
Brand tarnished,
players hurt, Klay aging exponentially. Bruh, just pile it on.
But Naji stunks all-time high. I hope y'all bought early, and I hope you're still holding not financial
28
advice.
in the first half.
Can you just call them stocks?
The knife.
Stunks.
Can you just call them stocks?
Can I ask a question? Or do we need to go to break?
No, we got 4 minutes.
Oh, I misread the clock. This is a question for the panel, but also for all of our friends in chat. Do you guys do that thing with the ice where you just plunge your face in ice in the morning?
No.
Oh my god!
Has anybody tried that yet?
No. I do sometimes.
You know what's about to happen now? It's going to be
Splash cold
spammed
water
on
on
my
my
phone now because it heard it. That came up. Great.
Do I have to use
see that whole video?
Saratoga
No.
sparkling water?
I haven't really watched videos, but it just seems to be even I've noticed it seems.
Okay,
you
it's
haven't
really
seen the
funny
whole
you don't know
video?
the context.
Correct.
It's very funny you don't know the context.
Oh my god!
Can we just play that on the fourth segment?
Can we just play that on repeat?
Oh, you don't know what we're talking about either?
Tanner, what?
Thought Tanner was a ball knower. Not quite.
Oh my god!
Oh my! I don't.
We got
know.
go. Okay, explain it in 3 minutes. Explain
No.
it.
It's impossible. I cannot do it justice. Neither
Yeah.
can Tim. KG, you know, right?
I do, but I don't have the.
The what's
inclination.
understood does not need to be explained. All right.
All I know is that it infuriates me now every time I see it.
I love it. It's great.
Well, no, here's the thing, because now more and more people are like doing it. So there's like
That's
more and more.
hilarious.
No. It's a stupid bit.
Dude, you know
Like,
how
y'all
easily
gotta
influenced
chill, man.
people are?
Huh?
You know how easily influenced people are? Like, the joke is on us. The
No.
joke is on humanity.
That's what I'm saying. Like, y'all got to stop. Don't give
It's
it more
got-
life.
It's got too mainstream.
The fact
to
that
the-
Stein
So
knows what it is.
It's not about what it says there that cold water is the best thing for your face.
That and vitamin E.
I mean, I don't know if that's true, but
Maybe.
I'm not
maybe.
a scientist.
I saw
Jokic
I
did
saw
it
the
too?
I saw the governor of New York post a joke about that. It's
Oh
gone
my
too far.
gosh.
I agree. It's gone too far. It's not even.
Tanner. I
this
avoid
was
the
theirs.
internet often. Who is that?
It's Jokic in a chariot at 5:28 a.m.
I do actually believe that that's his morning routine.
That's
I
awesome.
do believe that.
I don't find that one.
Here
that
we
funny.
are talking about memes on a podcast.
In morning routine. Mark, what is your what's the number one thing in your morning routine?
Hope I wake up. I am
That's such a morbid thing.
I
to
am
say.
the worst. I'm the worst morning person. Like, it's funny.
It better be funny.
I landed recently at a crazy early hour for me. Just like took a hellaciously early flight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the cab going home, in the Uber going home before 9 a.m. Like I said, for me that is
He hit us with the cab. I heard that.
no, it was an Uber, and my Uber driver. This was awesome. My Uber driver was listening to Sirius XM radio.
Uh-huh.
Sirius XM NBA radio, and I hit up Isola and Scal, and I said, "This is the first time this has ever happened to me. I'm in an Uber, and my Uber driver was listening to your show, but probably also the reason it's the first time it's happened to me because I'm never up this early, and for years I've been telling Isola how in the world a 7 a.m. radio. There's no way I could function at 7 a.m. and do a
Me
show.
neither, dude.
Like I can't do it. I can't even. I'm better at 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. than 7 a.m. Like I just can't.
You are a true night owl.
I-
Right?
I'm tired right now.
No, you're not.
You have been kind of
No, I
yawning and fading.
Oh wow.
I'm not usually tired this late.
What is
but
the problem?
Until like 3 a.m. today, probably.
They just played at MSG.
I'm gonna stay up till 3 a.m.
yeah.
No,
Oh wow. Okay. Shout out to the 1 p.m. show.
we've got a show tomorrow.
Which I was mortified when I found
Your
that
guy
out.
Jason Gallagher
You
is
could you
unbelievable.
scheduled
He
it.
just please read Jason Gallagher's tweet. Super
Oh.
Kev, please read it, and then we'll go to break.
Okay. Well, look at Mark directing the show. That's
Well,
good.
I like when you just you
Bringing
have
up memes,
you have a
bringing
mo-
up tweets.
You have a more authoritarian
You're
read.
so online, Mark. It's
Oh,
great.
Do you want me
wow.
to? You want me to read it?
I think
Yes.
I got it.
I want Super Kev
Wait,
to read it.
this most recent one, right?
Yeah, literally 9:28.
I don't have it.
Here,
He
I'll
must have
send-
deleted it.
I'll send it to you.
You
Oh.
should just read it then.
No, I want Super Kev to.
I think he deleted it because I
Super-
don't see it.
Super Kev needs to read it.
I think he deleted it because it's not on his account.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah, he deleted it.
Do you have it pulled up?
Did you take a picture of it?
I just sent it to him.
Send it to who?
To you.
No. Oh, he must have deleted that thing.
Maybe?
Oh, it's a response.
Oh,
That's why. I was like, huh?
my bad.
Oh, you want me to go ahead and still read this real quick?
Yeah, I think it's funny.
This is directed at Kirk Henderson, at Kirk Serious Face. Funny how the Mavs front office loves talking to fans from opposing teams' arenas. Yikes.
I guess that's our next segment.
It is. Let's take our next break here
Sending good wishes to the Henderson family.
Yes.
Kirk just lost his father.
Yes.
We're all fans of Kirk and the Henderson family on the show, and
Yes.
thoughts and prayers and everything else.
There are no good words. We just send love.
Let's take our next break. Rick Welt, the Mavericks CEO, joined the program on the broadcast tonight. What he had to say about the potential stadium plans for the Dallas Mavericks and more coming up next on the Dlls Mavs postgame show.
Started by two college friends, Saturday Neon makes officially licensed collegiate logo LED neon signs perfect for your home, office, dorm room, fan cave, bar, or many other places, podcast studios, cars. Do you think you could put a Saturday Neon sign on like a hatchback? I think you could. Check out their new Essentials collection featuring almost 50 of the biggest schools across the country and starting at over $75. We've got Texas A&M, Texas Tech, Oklahoma State. I still don't see North Texas on this ad copy, but I'm sure any moment now we're going to get one of those. Unlike traditional neon, these LED signs won't break or shatter. They still will give you that classic uniform glow, that iconic glow that you know and love. So head over to SaturdayNeon.com and use code DLLS for 10% off your favorite new sign.
It was another big, gigantic W night for me on the Sleeper app. Karl-Anthony Towns made me sweat a little bit. He ended up with a triple-double, but for one brief moment, it looked like he might not even get a double-double. Naji got me 15 points like 2 minutes into the game, so that was such an afterthought. Spencer Dinwiddie got me the 6 assists I needed, and let me let you know, I already got the notification that I had won. I believe it was $13.99 tonight, thanks to my multiplier. It was $13.98, so not $13.99. I lied to you. But huge W night for me on Sleeper. And you could put your ball knowledge to the test every single night right alongside me. I post my pick on the pregame show, Marc Stein. So you're going to have to check that out. Just another reason to watch our fine pregame show on here on this network. And if you download Sleeper today, use promo code DLLSMavs. Play $5 to get $55 at free plays to use anytime you like. Check out Sleeper today.
Mavericks fall on the road to the New York Knicks 128-113 as the Mavericks continue their 4-game road trip after a day off tomorrow, as they will take on Paolo Banchero and the Orlando Magic on Thursday before they head to Chicago, the hometown of one Anthony Davis, this weekend to finish up that 4-game road trip before they come home to take on the Brooklyn Nets on Monday. Mavericks will look to get back on the winning track on Thursday. I'll see an old friend in Jamal Mosley as well, who coaches, of course, the Orlando Magic. Mavericks CEO Rick Welt joined Marc and Devin Harris tonight on the television broadcast on KFAA and on Mavericks television. And I believe his first televised interview.
Yes.
Okay. No, that's fine. That's fine. And had some comments with respect to not only the Luka Doncic trade, which we'll hear in a little bit, but also the stadium, potential new arena when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks that we want to touch on as well. I see Eagle Skywalker. Hey, DLLS, have you seen the new arena comments from the Mavericks CEO, Rick Welt? To which we will respond to. How are we feeling about what he had to say? Bobby, I'll start with you. Since you heard most of
specifically about the stadium or about everything you said.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the summary of what he said is,
yeah,
to the best of my recollection. We both listened to it. Chime in if I'm forgetting something or for clarification. Rick Welt came on the broadcast and he talked about, he was asked about the fan reaction. Interview like this, everything's scripted, everything's planned out. But I actually really respect that, he was willing to go on television and answer a question about the fan sentiment, the fan reaction, and how everything has gone. And Rick Welt said that he has heard everybody's, the fan base's hurt, their pain, their frustrations. He said he listens to all of it. He said he listens to all of it, not just about the trade, but about everything. He said he listens to us every day. I do believe this, like this is a guy who has, is, as Marc Stein will tell us, but he's one of the most respected figures in the NBA. This is somebody who takes this stuff seriously. He said that, I thought it was really interesting. The most notable thing when it related to the trade was that
I thought we were talking about the stadium part first.
Yeah, because we'll have the audio here for just a second when he talked about the trade.
I mean, the quote about the stadium, if I'm getting this correctly off Twitter,
the timeline is
we need
ticking.
to be in a new arena for the 21-30. Sorry, we need to be in a new arena for the 2031-32 season. We are on the clock. That was the quote about the arena, if I'm citing Twitter correctly.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of city politics happening in Dallas lately. The Mavs are probably just using Irving as leverage because the city of Irving, we can say this on YouTube, is horny for a stadium, and they would be willing to give the Mavs all sorts of tax breaks and probably some funding to help get this thing through.
The city council voted to zone what was Cowboy Stadium for a gambling resort / arena. However, gambling is not legal. They just voted to zone that as a possibility.
Yeah, but obviously gambling would have to be legal in order to do that first, to which the residents of Irving, the people that would be, footed with the bill for this, they said, hell no, we do not want gambling here. We do not want these people here.
Yes.
And so Sands actually asked the Irving government, remove that from our agreement. Don't zone it for casinos, or don't say that it requires us to have a casino there.
Yep.
So that leverage play failed. And now they're coming back to Dallas with no leverage. And so Dallas, if they so choose, could force the Adelson family, force Patrick Dumont, force the Sands and the Mavs to foot the entire bill for the stadium if gambling does get passed. The public is pretty torn about that. There's no guarantee that gambling will be legalized before then. And I don't believe they would want to fund their own stadium unless there's a casino attached. So we're at quite a standoff here. We're in quite the pickle. Now, famously, when Mavs fans booed Patrick Dumont at American Airlines Center, and he was looking around like, are they booing me?
And he has not showed up at a game since.
One person he asked was Rick Welt, who was on TV tonight. The other person he asked was Dallas Mayor Eric Johnson.
Sports mayor.
They're trying to cozy up to that guy now. Probably also to try and receive some tax breaks. Now, let me use this as my personal stump. I'm a resident of Dallas County. I'm a resident of the city of Dallas. I don't want to pay taxes for a building. I think that the extraordinarily wealthy owner of the Mavs could fund their arena, casino, entertainment resort property themselves. And I hope that they do. That's also the smarter thing to do because it means more revenue, more money in their pocket. Just means more of an expense up front. And Rick Welt was the point person on getting the Chase Center built, which was funded entirely by Warriors ownership, and they are now bathing in cash.
They are.
Right, Marc? Because they own that stadium. So everything that happens there gives them revenue.
And look, in all seriousness, badly as you guys all wanted to read that Jason Gallagher tweet, I mean, the truth is, I'm going to assume, and I think it's an assumption, a pretty educated assumption. This week, our Board of Governors meetings in New York, my presumption would be that that's why Rick Welt is on this trip, that he would most likely be the Mavericks representative at the BOG meetings this week in New York. Again, that is my educated guess as to why he appeared on tonight's broadcast. But look, we know his remit, the main reason he was hired was to head up arena efforts. We know he brought up 2031-32 because the Mavs lease at the AAC ends by then. They obviously want to be in the new building by then. And all of that, as real and important as it is, I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that most of our friends in chat and most of the people who watch this show, and probably even most of the people who sit up here on this panel, don't really care so much right now about arena issues.
Nope.
Like the arena issue in 2031-32, there's a lot of basketball issues that need to be settled. Figure that arena stuff out. I agree. It's obviously a topic. There's all these hearings. The morning news is going to cover every proclamation from every politician in Dallas or Irving who has anything to say about this thing.
Sure.
But it's like,
I will say real quick.
A very inauspicious start.
Yeah, I will say I agree wholeheartedly with Bobby. I mean, Uber billionaires need to pay for their own stuff. Steve Ballmer is a shining example of what happens when you decide to put your own money and go build something yourself.
They have the wall.
Bobby is unwavering on this point.
No, and I'm right there with him. I will stand on that soapbox with you.
Unwavering.
Yeah. Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Cleveland Browns, is about to build a brand new $2 billion stadium with his own money. Taxpayers are not putting a dime into that. That is the way they should go. I mean, you own Buffalo Bills.
That means more profit on the backside, and they have the money.
The Pagula family, as far as the Bills are concerned, built that with their own money. Taxpayers are like, hell no. You want to pay for that? You build it yourself. And the Pagulas are like, okay, cool.
And, Rick Welt said he seems to be, Mark, unwavering on this. He wants the stadium in Dallas. And I think by Dallas, they mean Dallas, not like DFW or even Irving, which is one city over. Irving is, 5 miles away from where we are or something. They want it in Dallas.
And by the way, for the record, just to set my stance, I think it's totally fine if taxpayers pay for the arena. They own the team now.
Let's go.
Oh, you want to go Green Bay Packers?
Let's go.
The community own the team.
You want people that don't take vacations? I haven't been on vacation in like 2 years.
The Packers are a very interesting.
You missed a show last week.
That was not for vacation.
Oh, okay.
But no, real quick, the Packers are a very interesting case study when it comes to the community owning the team and them having a CEO who runs the day-to-day, but the people own the Packers. Rick Welt's also discussing the Luka Doncic trade in his first, or this is not his first public comments, but his comments on television about the trade. Here is what Rick Welt's had to say about how he is addressing Mavericks fans who were hurt by the fact that Luka Doncic is no longer in a Mavericks uniform. Here's what he had to say.
I'm listening every day to how fans are feeling about everything, not just the trade, okay? And I think when they get to know this ownership group, when they get to know what they're all about, I really do think you're going to see all the ingredients for success here and the commitment to reach that success. You're going to get to know me as a glass half full guy. I think what this really proved to me was the emotional connection between our fans and this team. It's extraordinary, unlike anything I've seen in my 47 years. And there is a lot of emotion about it. It's a trade. The wonderful thing about our business is these things have a scorecard, right? Time, wins and losses will tell whether the deal was a good deal or a bad deal. I just am going to promise to our fans right now, we're whatever trust we have lost or whatever concerns they have, we're going to earn it back because we're going to do this the right way. We're going to win championships.
Whatever trust we have lost, whatever concerns that fans have, we will work to earn that back. How does that land with you, gentlemen?
Well, I mean, he just said there's a scorecard. Feels like the scorecard that he believes is going to win it back is going to win it back? Or like it's going to be tilted in their ledger?
How's it look right now?
It does not look great.
What was the score to tonight's game, Tanner? Can you flash that up on the screen real quick?
120 to 101.
That scorecard doesn't look very good. That one doesn't look good.
No. And Sarah in the chat, -0 interest in getting to know the ownership group.
Hold on. Since Sarah's carrying the chat, I need to find my Sarah.
Oh, let's go.
My Sarah made bracelet.
Well, I'm sure we'll carry this over on the other side of the
Sarah's
diehard.
here.
But
My bracelet's on now. I should have had this on from the start.
He said we're going to do this the right way. And I think, to set the table for the conversation that we'll have here soon, what exactly does the right way mean? Have they started doing it the right way yet? Or is that something that, like, now that they have a clean slate, will they do it the right way moving forward? What exactly does the right way mean?
We'll discuss it on the other side of the break here on the DLS Mavs postgame show.
But first, Mark Stein, we recently crossed the 1,000 diehard threshold. Did you know that?
I did hear that.
Let's go.
I think that was last night you guys were touting
We
that.
did. Oh, yeah, we did. Just yesterday. There was another game.
Tout it some more.
Another day, another dream with our diehards here at DLLS Sports. If you want to join the family, hey, scan that QR code below or click the link in the description below, or go to alldls.com/diehard where you can become a part of our community here at DLS Sports. We're doing live shows 5 days a week, including pre- and post-game for every single dang Mavs game, Stars game, Cowboys game, and roughly half of the Rangers games. Those are always going to be free on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, iTunes, whatever the case is. But if you want to read premium written content, insight, analysis, news, rumors, and more from folks like Tim Cato on Mavs and
The written version of Cato's Corner?
Yep. The only way you can do it, by becoming a diehard. If you want to join the DLS Diehard Discord server, the only way to do that, becoming a diehard. If you want a discount on events, if you want a discount on merch, if you want a free shirt right when you sign up, the only way to do that is to become a diehard. And I mentioned events. Now, we're having an event next month, our first ever, the inaugural Lone Star Open at Stevens Park Golf Course. That is in Dallas, a beautiful place to play. You play in foursomes, so you can register as an individual, or you can join with you and 3 others, or as a pair, and you'll get paired up, whatever the case is. We just added the option to play a round of golf with the legend himself, Craig Ludwig.
Let's go.
Can I ask you one question?
What's up?
Why is it inaugural? I've had a lot of Lone Stars Open in my life.
Oh, wow. There would probably be Lone Stars there if I had to guess. But, or unbranded beers there.
No. We love Lone Star too much. We'll say their name.
Oh, okay.
Free ad.
You don't have to be diehard to go,
brands.
but if you're diehard to get 20%, there's so many benefits. You also get your physical diehard card. So thank you for all your support. Really appreciate you guys.
Mavericks get clobbered on Broadway tonight by the New York Knicks, 128-113. Naji Marshall, career high 38 points, 28 which came in the first half as he went 13 of 15 from the field. What happened, Tanner? Oh, okay. As the Mavericks fall tonight, as of right now, pending the outcome of tonight's game between the Kings and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Hellacious back-to-back for the Kings, by the way. They had Boston last night. They got Oklahoma City tonight.
Suns get Boston tomorrow, likely without Jason Tatum. Tatum
doubtful.
Announced as doubtful tonight for that game tomorrow.
So no Jason Tatum.
Why are you laughing? What?
No, I just thought of something funny.
So no Jason Tatum for the Celtics, most likely. And some other NBA news as well. Damian Lillard has been ruled out indefinitely by the Milwaukee Bucks. He is also now dealing with deep vein thrombosis. This is occurring in his calf that he's been dealing with. So he is already on blood thinner medication, according to Chris Haynes, as he continues to work back from that. So all the best to Damian Lillard.
In other words, he is most likely out for the season.
Yeah. With the word being indefinitely used right now. So Victor Wembanyama dealing with that as well. So again, the best to those gentlemen recovering from that. As we were discussing, Rick Welt, the CEO of the Mavericks, joined Marc Followell and Devin Harris on the broadcast tonight. Bobby Curla posing the question before we went to break as we finish up on our post-game show here. The right way to start to do this, because Rick Welt's discussed repairing the trust and the fans' concerns, obviously, of how things have gone in the wake of the Luka Doncic trade. Also discussing potential new arena plans and what that looks like as well. But how do the Mavericks begin to move forward in that vein, knowing that they've got a lot of work to do on a lot of different fronts for this team?
I'm torn. I don't think any of the words said in this statement were wrong. I think the messaging itself was theoretically, they're saying the right things. It took a long time for them to say the right things.
That's for damn sure.
And that is an enormous issue that they have to own. But yes, more or less, you're saying the right things. You say you're listening to the fans. There is one crossboard analogy that does come to mind. Do you guys want to hear a crossboard analogy?
It's Cato's Corner, so I guess we do.
No, it's Stein time.
Okay, well, I'm ceding to Cato's Corner, so please continue.
Well, I could cede it right back to you. All right, so I just watched the U.S. men's national team lose a couple games that they probably shouldn't have lost.
Panama.
Probably.
They should. Low blocks are hard to break down, and we're missing a lot of players, but probably should have beat them. I think that those games showed that it's not necessarily the previous coach. I always thought the previous coach, Greg Berhalter, was somebody who was far better than his reputation. And I think this past window showed that again. I don't think he was amazing. I don't think he was generational. I just thought he was a solid coach that got these teams to play about to their abilities more often than not. Now, every time there's exceptions. I'm not going to get deep into strategy and stuff like that.
Or when it wasn't fighting players' daddies and stuff like that.
I'm not going to get into that. It's quite a bit more complicated than that, and Gio Reyna did not come out. Gio Reyna was not the man who the Reynas did not come out well. Anyway, let's stay focused. The reputation of Greg Berhalter, no matter what I thought, had grown so toxic that the vast majority of the U.S. men's national team fan base was not even enjoying wins. Every single positive thing was in spite of the coach and because of the players. But every negative thing was proof that the coach was effing up, that he was holding the most talented generation of Americans back. It was proof of this. And it was so vitriolic online. And then, there was that whole Gio Reyna saga and that added to it. Mm-hmm. And then they lost the Copa America. I don't think he should have came back for a second cycle. But again, this is soccer stuff. The point is, it had got so bad that after the team lost in Copa America, nobody knew that they could go get the coach they got. But I didn't think he had done that bad of a soccer job. I thought he needed to go because everything around the team had gone to the point that the team's own fan base couldn't enjoy it. That if the U.S. men's national team got to the 2026 World Cup, the first thing that a Stephen A. Smith, that a huge sports personality is going to ask about is so why is this coach here? He's done, because that's the entirety of the discourse. It didn't matter if I was right or wrong. And it really comes to mind with this situation. It really does. I am not here advocating for the Dallas Mavericks to make any specific move. I do think there's a lot of parallels to this. And I do think that the Mavericks fandom has been so hurt and so vitriolic. And I get it. We've done a lot of talking about the fans and why they feel that way, that it just makes it very hard to reset. There's a lot of other aspects of the situation that are different. And maybe they're right. Maybe winning cures all. That's a big bet to make when you're entering next season with Kyrie Irving out for most of it, with other issues that you're going to have to overcome. So, yes, I think the messaging was fine from Rick Welt. I believe him when he says he's listening to the fans. The fans have also been very loud about one action. And I guess the question is he going to listen to that? I get it. I totally get it on both sides. I'm just saying I see the parallels here.
They're going to force them to hear it a lot on April 9th. That's for damn sure, Bobby.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. How long can this keep
Cato
going?
To be put in a dunk tank at Six Flags.
Dunk tape?
What?
That'd be a good
Once
fundraiser.
summer hits full, you could put Cato on a dunk tank at Six Flags.
See if you can get us in the water.
Hey, wait, why?
3 balls, 3 chances.
We could find a sponsor for that.
I'd be down to do that. For
Why?
Sure.
Why do I have to go in the dunk tank?
I'll sit there. Doesn't matter to me.
I'll do it though.
Maybe they saw that you were talking and figured you would be the one to do that.
The thing is, if they don't acquiesce to what the fans want, which is, I wouldn't say a lot, but there are fans that want they want the team sold and they want a new front office and a new coach. And
they want Cuban to buy back the team.
That's probably not going to happen.
Right.
But if everybody is still in place on opening night next year, ownership, general management, coach, the whole squad is back,
which is the likely scenario.
Yeah.
I think that is signaling to the fans that we really think that we're right. We really don't think that you guys are right. But that's the last card you could play.
Right.
Because they have to see the Anthony Davis trade through.
Yeah.
You have, with this group in place.
If you're ownership, you don't let the GM make the trade and then turn on him a month or 2 or 3 or 6 months later.
Yeah, you can't do it. You got to see it
And you
through.
can't fire the coach either. Everyone involved have to.
Yeah,
and
I totally agree.
Through.
I am of the position when it comes to what Dallas should do going forward is that just might as well try to keep this team together. I don't think that there's any really way.
It just gets real bad if they start like 12-20 next year.
It starts awfully, and even then I think if you start the year with the coach and the ownership and the front office all the same, and especially if you don't like if the roster is pretty similar, you don't go at a star.
I can't even.
I don't know how
you. April 9th.
I don't know how you sell that to the fan base.
I can't see beyond April 9th. That's all I see.
I mean, that is the day. I mean,
especially with. I was really looking forward to Jimmy at Miami tonight. That was going to be a big thing. Obviously, that turned out to be
a dud.
There's gonna be like people lighting flares and stuff. Can you do that? I don't think that. Did they let you take flares? I don't think so, right?
That's
in the Mavs arena.
Thing.
Yeah.
I don't, not
inside.
I don't think they do, right?
You can't bring flare now.
I'm not encouraging it. I'm just saying, like it's gonna be a weird time.
Apoplectic.
It's gonna be a weird time.
You can do that
actually.
Even the European stadiums you've seen with the flares. Flares are technically banned for all stadiums.
Will it be wilder than the
fans
first?
smuggling
Will it be wilder than the first home game post trade?
Oh my god!
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. It may start the day before.
Yeah.
There may be fans lining up and getting ready at the American Airlines Center the night before.
The only
to get
time
ready
I've
for that
ever
day.
been at a Mavs game in my life, at a sporting event in my life, where I genuinely was like, I don't know what's going to happen next, and there's like a non-zero chance that something gets set off here, is when Andrew Bynum flagrantly fouled JJ Barea and got kicked out of Game 4 against the Lakers. I was like, because he's like walking off he rips off his jersey and is walking off the court past a bunch of fans, and I'm like, something weird might happen right now. Nothing did. But that was the only time in my life I've been at a game and thinking like,
Were you there as a fan?
I was.
Are you saying that you thought something might happen because you were considering making something happen?
No, but I was sitting very, very close to where he was walking off the court, and I was like,
were you thinking about rushing Andrew Bynum?
I hope no one around me does anything because I don't want him to think it was me.
Sure.
He's so much bigger and stronger than me. That would not go
I think
well.
you could have taken him.
I don't think so.
Or
man.
the fact that you could have been permanently banned from the arena if they thought it was you.
It wasn't me. Review the tapes.
Check the tape. Challenge. You throw the challenge flag. But yeah, I think that's, aside from this team who is clearly going to still try to make the play-in, to whether or not you agree with it or not, the date that we are all have circled on the calendar is April 9th. And I think it's interesting that we're hearing more and more of the public figures of the team. Rick Welt tonight, obviously, Marc, you're talking about, coinciding with, the Board of Governors meeting, this weekend in New York. But we're hearing more and more individuals at higher levels of the team make specific statements about what this team is and the direction that they were trying to repair with fans as we get closer to the April 9th date. The fact that Anthony Davis has returned as well, I am of the opinion that they are getting him out there so that he's on the floor by the time Luka Doncic and the Lakers show up. And that they're working toward that as well. So there's a lot of things that are very interesting in terms of the timing as we're getting closer and closer to April 9th.
I mean, again, and I'll probably say it again, April 7th, 8th, and 9th. Like, I was a Laker beat writer when Shaq went from Orlando to the Lakers, so I covered that. I was not there the first time LeBron played in Cleveland as a Heater. And I was there when Kevin Durant played at OKC the first time as a member of the Warriors. But in all those cases, the players chose. The players made the move.
That's right.
This is unprecedented because the team sent him away.
There will be a shot of Patrick Dumont on the sideline saying, "Are they saying Luka?"
You think Mr. Dumont will be at the game?
I don't think Nico or Patrick Dumont will be at that game that day.
No, they got to be there. You have.
No, I agree. They have to be there.
You have to be there.
But if I'm predicting, I don't think they'll be at that game. But they absolutely should be there to feel all of that day. They need to feel that.
You might want to take one of those little mini umbrellas. Just wear that on your head.
That'll do it for us here on the DLS Mavs post-game show. Sincerely thank our producer Tanner for making us look good and sound good as always. Appreciate you, sir. We will be back tomorrow for our regular DLS Mavs podcast at 1 p.m. as the Mavericks are off before they go on the road again to take on Paolo Banchero and the Orlando Magic on Thursday. So tune in tomorrow at 1 p.m. for our regular DLS Mavs podcast as well. That is our national NBA insider, Marc Stein. That is our Mavericks analyst, Bobby Carell. That is our Mavericks beat writer, Tim Cato. I'm your host, Kevin Gray. We are DLLS Mavs. Mavs fall tonight 128-113 to the New York Knicks. We will have our regular show tomorrow at 1 p.m. on DLLS Sports. Y'all have a great evening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow afternoon. Y'all be good. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.